All right, so I'm back with serious business. This is, I guess we're going to call this part two of super serious business, okay? Final averages. We are waiting on state guidance, but we are working in the meanwhile on contingency plans around final averages. What we're concerned about is that the state may come back and say that there are no failures allowed. So therefore, if you come up with a final average of a failing number, we can't actually give the kid that failing number. Instead, we can only give that kid something called an I, incomplete. And my concern with that is this. We advocate for students and we speak to our students weekly. And some of us are reporting that some of our kids think that they don't have to do any work because they cannot fail anyway. They're getting message from, I don't know where, but maybe they have some kind of inside scoop to the state. They're hearing that they can't fail no matter what. And so now that translates to, well, I'm not going to do any work. If you are hearing that, you can message back to them that essentially what's happening is they will not earn credit. So if you tell me I can't fail, yeah, the word failure can't be on your report card. The letter F can't be on your report card. A score below 65 may not be on your report card. But also what else won't be on your report card is a credit. You will not earn the credit. So you can tell students that when they say that to you. You may not be able to fail, but you also will not earn the credit. And that is so important to have the credit because that is the symbol of passing. And if someone doesn't earn a credit, then what happens? We send them to summer school. What happens? We make them take the class over the following year. What happens? We make them take it for half a year and take the exam again in January. If you think about it, we already have a policy at our school where kids can't fail because we make them take the courses again and again until they pass. So we already have a system in place where kids can't fail. So don't let them delude themselves and think that things have changed because of this. They need to be working. Now, the way the final average is going to work, I really would suggest you open up the link to it's called grading procedures and read that. We are going to take marking periods 1 through 3 and average those using a formula, including the midterm. And that right there will be called a benchmark grade. The benchmark grade is basically what they would get for all 4 marking periods, but we're going to add in a rubric. So let me see if I can explain this. You're going to have a benchmark grade. Kids will know what their benchmark grade is. And that's marking periods 1 through 3 plus their midterm averaged together with a formula. Then that grade gets massaged by the marking period for rubric score. Let me give you an example. A kid may have a benchmark grade of a 70 after adding 3 marking periods and a midterm. They have a 70 average. Then they have a marking period 4 score of a 3 out of 4 on the rubric. That may mean that 70 now becomes an 80. And they have an 80 for the year. I think the smartest thing we can do is find out what our benchmark scores are very quickly and find out what do we think a 3 would be equivalent for that student. A 3 for one student is not going to be the same for a 3 for another student. And we'll have to give out ranges because all this becomes subjective. And subjectivity is not great. We don't run into a lot of problems with subjectivity when kids are in 70s and 80 ranges. But when we go into the 90s and kids want to know how high their grade possibly is, that's when we get into trouble. We also get into trouble when it's lower. If we want to decrease a student's score because of the rubric grade at the end, then we're going to get into some subjectivity problems there with parents. So we just need to be very diligent and make sure our message to students is, what they should be shooting for, and think positively. Okay. The rest of this is all in the links, and I want you to read the links instead of listening to me because I wrote far more eloquently than I talk, and I write far more eloquently than I talk. See what I mean? And I think you can get the information better there. At 3 p.m. today, if you have questions or concerns, please log in and ask those questions. I'm sure others do too. Or you may not have any questions, but if you log in at 3 o'clock, you'll hear others' questions and we'll get back to you. I'm also going to be keeping notes from the 3 o'clock meeting and we'll send those out. So if you can't log in at 3, that's okay. Just read the notes later on. Your question will probably find itself there. You have a great day, and I will see you soon.